Hey everyone, Platt Sam. Welcome to another video build. So today's a bit different than usual. I have a Shelf of Doom project that I started 18 months ago during the start of the pandemic, really. Why I stopped building, I can't remember. For one reason or another, I put it back in the box, and sometimes with kits I lose my interest, something happens, whatever. And if I lose interest in them, 9 times out of 10 they'll get sold on. This one didn't. This has been kept along with another Tamiya Alpha 155. I got the urge of the day to finish it, and that's where I've gone and done. I spent probably 3 days on and off finishing this. There was a lot of work done, so I'm going to run through in a minute what was already done on the kit. So not a huge amount to do. And when I opened the box, I just sat there looking at it thinking, why did I not finish this? It's beautiful. It really is looking good. So that's where we're going to go today. So it's a bit of a longer video than normal. We're going to be at nearly an hour with this intro, so hopefully you stick around. We're all over the place because we've done a lot of work already. Like I say, I'm going to go through what's been done, but there's still a lot to do. Going to be in no particular order until we get the interior done, and then we're back on track to usual then. No faff, no hanging around. We're going to get straight to the point with everything and just get going with it. So let's get on with the build. Hey everyone, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, get notified of our latest videos, give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and leave a comment. I do read and appreciate every comment you guys and girls leave behind. I may not reply to them all, but they are all appreciated. And there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to a big long list of all handy videos and a lot of the products I use in my videos. You now have the chance to support the video content creation by using Patreon or the PayPal me link in the description down below. All the videos always remain free to watch. This is just your chance to help support the videos. Okay then, so as I said, I started this kit about 18 months ago. It was put away for one reason or another. At the stage it's literally at now. So it's progressed quite a lot. We've got all the body primed, painted, clear coated. The chassis has all been painted. Running gear for the most of it has been painted as well. Suspension, brake discs, so on and so forth. Not bad. Painted to a pretty good standard. Body's really good. When I look back at this, I'm thinking, wow, why did I put this away? This is literally just come out of the airbrush. Painted in UMP white primer. Painted in Splash Bayside blue when I was using Splash all those years ago. Some carbon decal on the rear wing and cleared in Gravity Spain 2K clear coat. 2 sets of rims. I've got a detail dress up set from Tamiya here, so we've got some different wheels. We're going to use the ones in my left hand with the tyres on. All the interiors all primed up in UMP grey primer as well. So not a huge amount of work to do, but something I wanted to get off the bench. And obviously because I'm filming everything at the minute, we can't go back and start again. So we're going to start off where we are today. So this is the detail dress-up set, the Nismo dress-up part set. So in here there are different brakes, different wheels, different spoiler mount. We get a few different parts, different exhaust, things like that. So most of this is on the car. And we're just going to carry on where we left off. So rather than running the normal sequence that I do, we're going to be all over the place here as well. As you see, there's a nice decal set with this as well, but we didn't use a whole load of them. I'm not a big fan of the big stripes down the side and the checkers on the bonnet, so I've used a few of the decals. You'll see those as we go through the build. But like I say, because there's no set order, we're kind of going to be all over the place with this, picking up bits, finishing off what was started before, and just cracking on to the end of the build. We're going to get done in one video. I'm going to be as clear, quick and concise as I can, and get through the build as quick as we can. So as I say, get quite a good detail upset. You get a good decal set of it as well. We're not going to use all these, but some of them on the body have been used, and we've still got other parts used for the brake discs and the instrument panels. As I say, the body, really nice, really good 2K job here. It's well and truly dry because it's been curing for 18 months. But the colour's good, the gloss coat's good. I was using splash paint a bit back then, and no longer. Not a fan of them. Much prefer the gravity paints, much more reliable, not as hot, and the colour matches are much better. But this one's come out quite well. We give the usual Tamiya panel line wash. and cleared it in Gravity 2K Clear. All the decals are on. So this just needs a flatten, get rid of some of those dust spots, and polish her up to a nice finish. Bayside blue is a very nice iconic R34 colour. So this should look good once it's all painted up. So straight on, we're going to chuck some decals onto some of the chassis. We've already done the intercooler on the front, so we put a Nismo decal on there. And we've got some Nismo decals to put on the 5-spoke rims as well. And the brake discs, calipers, my bad, sorry, not the wheels, we're not getting to those yet. We're doing the brake calipers first. So marking these up, Brembo, typical standard decal procedure in the warm water or whatever water you're using, pop it in place, get the water out behind and hit it with a decal solution, which we are using Ultimate Strong here. Straight in with the Strong, because I know what I needed to set the Tamiya decals. I'm just going to put a generous amount on, let it do its work, come back in for a second coat like we've done here, and use the cotton bud to make sure it's all conformed into the intercooler fins, like so. Same with the brake calipers, all looking good. Let those dry, and we can come back and do some other bits as well. So level of work's not too bad, standard's okay, could be better, could be worse. We've got all the interior parts mounted. Like I say, these were primed a long time ago. Ultimate grey primer, so we're just going to mount all these up, take them to the spray booth and get them sprayed up as well. So bit of a boring interior, it's grey on grey, so that's what it's going to be. The wheels we chose are these. I can't remember the name of them. I'm not very good with the Japanese car at all, but these are the ones that came with the kit actually. They're not the dress-up wheels. I think I've already used those elsewhere. I think that might have got on the other R32. I did, the cherry red one. So these wheels are part of the kit, but they're nice wheels. Look really good, and for a change, we're going to spray them in silver. I'm not going to go gold or bronze or black. I decided to go silver, so we're priming them up in Mr. Hobby GX2 gloss black. So we're going to put a couple of coats down and slowly build up a nice gloss coat. While we're doing the coat to that, we can also put a coat of grey. This is LP13 onto all the interior panels. This will be our main interior colour. So we'll paint all this up, let it dry, and then brush paint some of the detail work later on. So the beauty of having multiple airbrushes, we've got one loaded up with the GX2, the 0.2, and the 0.3 for spraying this. So we can do a coat on this, put it to one side, grab the other airbrush, do a coat on the wheels, and just speeds up the process a little bit. But grey paint or grey primer, going to cover really, really quick. So just a couple of light coats, make sure we've got even coverage everywhere, and we can move on to the next parts. So like I say, the running gear mostly done, just a few bits need painting. So we've got some Vallejo model silver. This would have been the colour I used on the engine and transmission last time, just to detail paint some of the parts underneath. So nothing too taxing at all, just a bit of careful brush painting to ensure we not only match the colour we put down before, but yeah, add a bit of detail underneath. Once this is dry, we can pop a Tamiya panel line wash on there, black wash, and yeah, that'll look good once it's done. So with that dried now, we can pop our exhaust in place. We've got lots of other components to go on as well. The suspension, like anti-sway arms, anti-roll bars, blah, blah, blah. Pretending to know what the parts are, and I haven't got a clue, really. But the exhaust clips in place nicely. No idea at all what this was painted with. No clue whatsoever. It's silver. It looks good. So that's what we're going with. Like I said, a multitude of arms and braces to go on here. So lost the instructions. Don't know where they've gone. Lost the kit decals. No idea where they've gone as well. But we've got enough with the dress-up parts, and we've got the instructions off scale mates, and they're up on the monitor ahead of me, so I can see where all the parts are going. But yeah, funny coming back to a kit and wondering what on earth's happened. Like, where have they gone? What have I done with that? No idea whatsoever. But a nice feeling coming back to a Shelf of Doom build. Something I always knew I would finish, and I've been heckled on and off by the lads over it for a while. And just sat here one day, I was working on the Lamborghini, and I was just literally thinking, I've not done a bench update for ages, and I'll only do a bench update if I've got a finished project. And And of course, the last finished project was the Audi, which went a bit wrong, so we didn't finish that. Got the Lamborghini in progress, which is going to take quite a while to do. And we just started the Sauber C9 Mercedes. So again, it'll be a while, probably a good 3 weeks before we get to another bench update. I've not done one for a while. So I thought if I finish this off, it gives me an excuse to do a bench update. It's got to build off the shelf of doom. And it only really leaves one more there then, which is my Martini Alfa Romeo 155, which I have done all the bodywork on. All bodywork's all primed, painted, decaled and cleared. But we've still got a lot of work to do on the interior and chassis. So get this done. It's a nice feeling to get a Shelf of Doom build done. I don't have many in the stash because I don't tend to keep hold of them. They normally get moved on. But these two I knew I'd get back to, so I saved them. So with those parts all in place, held in with a bit of CA glue, we've got a Tamiya black panel liner wash. I'm just going to put a enamel black wash over all the silver parts. It's every recess, panel line, crevice, anything that'll hold a wash. Get to washing it. We'll let it dry for about half an hour, and then we can come back in with a cotton bud moistened with some Santador odorless mineral spirit and remove any excess wash. The enamel washes from Tamiya dry really quick, and they are nice and easy to remove as well, so no worries getting these off. We'll do the brake calipers, brake discs, literally underneath, if it's metallic, it'll hold a wash. We'll do the suspension, struts and springs as well. We just give it a good wash and then come back, remove the excess later on, and it just adds a bit of depth to the model. Just one more part to paint on the back. I completely forgot about this. No idea what it is. The silver bit on the back of the car underneath. So the Veil model silver, just going to brush paint it with a Tamiya flat brush. Nice and carefully, couple of coats. Not trying to get it all covered in one coat. And just gently go around. Carefully painting it. Again, the beauty of putting water-based acrylics over lacquer. If you get a bit too much on, you can always wipe it back off with a cocktail stick, cotton bud, whatever. But take your time. Be as neat as you possibly can, and the cleanup will be easier for you later on. So with that done, we can now move on to removing the wash. So like I say, a little bit of Santador, odorless mineral spirits, wherever your choice preference is, lighter fluid, meths, turbs, wherever, alcohol, whiskey, vodka, wherever it is. For me, I use the Santador odorless mineral spirit. It's probably one of the kindest ones to use. We're just going to go around, remove all the wash until we're left with a nice weathered look. Basically, the wash just adds a little bit of depth to the model, and yeah, looks really good once it's dry. So wash again. We're going to mix some grey and black and make a nice dark grey wash, and we're going to apply this to our interior parts now as well. So start off with the dashboard. We're going to do this. So the dashboard's staying fully grey as far as I'm concerned. So I thought I'll put a wash in this. We'll do all the vents around all the controls, the radio, etc, etc. Let it dry, and we can wipe it off. And it does make a big difference. It adds quite a lot of depth to the model, and it does add a nice weathered look to it. So just put it in. Don't have to go absolutely crazy. We can do the same to the steering wheel. Just adds a little bit of depth and a little bit of interest to what would essentially be a boring grey part. So door cards exactly the same. If it hold a wash, I put it in. Just touch it. The capillary action of the wash will let it travel around. There we go. Pop that to one side to dry. Now we need to paint some of the interior. So I've got a nice flat brush, and we're going to use some UMP grey primer because I have no other acrylics, and we're just going to apply this to the center part of the seats. Now when it's wet, it looks a bit like, oh my god, what's that? But once it's dry, it blends in quite well. It's not too bad at all. So just some careful painting. Again, we've used lacquer paint, so put water-based paint over the lacquer as long as it's dry, which this has been at least 3 hours now since we painted this. We can carefully paint it. Any excess we can get off with cotton bud, and yeah, get it back to a square straight edge. But just take your time, follow the panel. As you can see there, I'm just following it nice and gently. And again, don't try and cover it in one go. We're not going to get full coverage in one layer. So put a First coat down, let it dry. Like I say, if you get a bit much, grab a cotton bud, don't lick it. I definitely didn't lick that. Just carefully wipe it away. And then you come in for a second coat later on. And second coat should get it. If you need another coat, again, pop it on. But just some nice careful painting. Always nice to get back to a bit of hand painting. Feels like you're going back to your roots almost. Just some careful painting will get this sorted. Same on the front seats. Just some careful brush painting, following the seat demarcation lines all the way around. Just take your time. Like I say, using water-based paint over lacquer, so you can get it off if you make a mistake. But the neater you are now, the less work you've got, full stop. Again, don't try and do it in one coat. Let it dry, come back in later for a second coat, and you'll be all good to go. Like I say, miss a bit, put a bit too much on, grab a cocktail stick, cotton bud, whatever, and remove the excess. But the UMP primer brush paints really, really well. As you can see, no dramas there at all. Getting really good coverage. Again, on the dashboard, some Santador or those mineral spirits to get rid of any excess wash. Just take your time, work your way around. If you need a bit more, pop a little bit on. Less is more. You do not need a lot of this at all. It really is less is more. So just take your time, work your way around you, but find it handy to flip around the cotton bud every now and then to a dry side, and that way you can mop up any excess mineral spirits that you put down on the part. And that little bit of wash will be removed by the tiniest amount of mineral spirits. It's quite surprising. So again, we're coming in, popping a third coat down on these rear seats. I just needed another coat. So again, some careful painting on this, and we'll do the front seat, 3 coats in total, and that'll give us a nice demarcation, difference of colour. Now we've got some Mr. Hobby Super Metallic Super Stainless here. This was my choice of colour for the wheels. Now it could have gone gold, could have gone bronze, could have gone black. They're all the stereotypical colours. I chose this colour to be a little bit different. And yeah, I like this colour. This is the colour of the wheels we did on the Cobra. Keep your rim clean. Nobody likes a crusty, dirty rim. I use this on the Cobra, using some rapid thinner, the quick drying stuff from Mr. Hobby. Only a tiny bit. And the wheels look great. It's a fantastic colour. Give it a quick whiz up with the Badger paint mixer. And we're good to go. Wipe everything over. But yeah, top tip, keep your rim nice and clean. We're at 18 psi, 0.2mm UMP apex. I'm just going to put several light coats down, building this up on the outside and the inside of the wheel. And just build it up till we get a nice deep luster shine on it. As you can see, it covers really well, really fast. It's a beautiful colour as well. Really nice metallic, dark metallic silver. It's got a very nice hue to it, and it's definitely one of my favourite metallic colours at the minute. Trying to use it as much as possible. I thought, doing silver wheels, perfect opportunity. But just look at that colour. Beautiful it is. Absolutely lovely. So there'll be some purists out there thinking, no, you should have done gold, should have done black, bronze. Yeah, maybe, but I like to do something a little bit different, and I don't see many of them with silver wheels, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do silver wheels. So there we go, several light coats, probably 2, maybe probably 3 light passes over, and we've got a nice depth there. Now, we've got a special guest today, because I didn't want to get covered in flock, so Hannah volunteered to do the flocking for me. So a quick trip into the house. We've got some Revel Grey matte enamel paint, a big Tamiya flat brush, and you've seen me flock before. You've never seen Hannah do it though. If you gently paint around where you want the flock to live, to stick, put a generous amount down, just follow her around till you're happy. Careful painting. And then let that go tacky for a minute or so. By the time you've finished, it'll be ready to go. But just be nice and neat, because everywhere you put this paint is where the flock will sit. And because you put enamel on lacquer, if you wipe it off, there's a good chance you'll damage the paint underneath. So the rear polish shelf's already been done. A little bit too much in places, and we'll go over the speaker grills, but we'll fix that in a little bit. But Hannah's first time doing this, and she did a good job. Now, the reason I'm not doing it is, whenever I do it in here, I get absolutely covered in the stuff. I've done it in the house, and it's still on me, and I bring it in here. So I thought, if I have absolutely nothing to do with it, maybe I'll have a bit more luck. So hopefully a woman's touch will make all the difference. So we've got the tea strainer, sieve. We've got some Scale Production grey flock, and it's a case of tapping it over the top, giving it a nice even coat all over, like so. Make sure you get all the angles. You have to tip it round, pick it up, move it round. But we just want a nice even coat all the way around, sticking to that enamel sticky paint. Once you've done that, you can lightly press down a bit. Just nice and careful. What you don't want to do is move it, and then once you're happy, tip it upside down. Make sure you're working on some newspaper or magazine, whatever. Tap off the excess. That can be reused again. You can go back in the tub, and then a quick look, and there we go. Not a bad job at all. Flocking looks good, pretty well covered. Got a little bit too much in a few places, but I'll remove the excess later with a pointy cotton bud. Seats are dry now. Really happy with the colours. They contrast well against each other. So again, we've got a grey, black panel line wash. I'm just going to fill all the panel lines of the seats. Let that dry. Not only will it fill the panel lines, add a bit of depth, it will also stain the seat a little bit. Add a little bit more contrast to the seat a bit. Not a huge amount, but it will leave a bit of colour behind. So do the same to the rear seat as well. The flocking is looking really good. Hannah did a really good job. So, bit of a bland interior, grey on grey on grey, but hey, it is what it is. We'll make the most of it as we go. So the wheels are fully dried now. We're going to put our Nismo decals on the wheels. We've also got an instrument binnacle decal to go on as well. There's a choice of two. There's a yellow one and a white one. Prefer the look of the white one, so we've gone with that one instead. A few seconds in the water, good minute or so, and then the wheels, just popping the tyres on to see how they sit. They look really, really good. So no problems there. Beautiful colour. Really do like this colour. But decals, just careful application. One decal per rim. Pop it on. Refer to instructions. Make sure you got it in the right place. It's the right way round. Once you're happy it's there, remove any excess moisture using a cotton bud. If you're not happy, move it while you can. Pop it in place. And there we go. Same with the instrument panel. Slide it in place. Once you're happy, get it in place, get all the excess moisture out from behind it, and then hit it with the Ultimate Strong, in my opinion. It's probably best. And just lightly dab it in place, get it fully home, and let the decal solutions do the job and settle everything in place. No need to touch it again, just leave it be. And same for the steering wheel as well, get the decal in place. Lay it up, get rid of the excess moisture, hit it with the decal solutions, bish bash bosh, job done. There we go. Once the decal's dry, we've got some Tamiya black panel liner again, and we're just going to do the centre of the wheels, around the wheel nuts. Didn't paint the wheel nuts on this, left them the colour as they are, because, well, if I had wheels of this colour, I'd want the nuts to match. So, yeah, left them as is. Just defluffing the tyres. They've been knocking around a bit, so they picked up a bit of debris, dust and fluff. So a bit of Tamiya tape. And then with the excess wash removed from the wheels, we can mount them up in place. Bit of careful mounting required. There we go. And then same on the rear one. And there we go. There's all four in place. Looking good. Sitting well. Sitting straight and true. Looking really good. Inside the exhaust, we've got some Vallejo Model Colour Black on a micro brush, and I've just applied a generous amount in the middle and remove any excess from the exterior. Dashboard's glued in place, literally sits in place with a dab of super glue. Seats, we're just putting a little bit of CA glue over the rails where the seats sit. Like so. My super glue is running out there, so that's straight into the bin and get a brand new one. And then the seats, literally make sure they're located properly, push them down, make sure they're fully home, and hold them for a second or two in place. So for a great interior, it's not too bad. Quite happy with the LP13 darker grey. The UMP primers turned out well. Flocking looks good. We've got one of the door cards there in place, just test fitting it. So again, a couple of strategic places of CA glue. All gets held in place. Like I say, for a grey interior, doesn't look too bad actually. Flocking looks good. Happy with the colours. Everything's turned out well. Wash has added a bit of depth here and there. So not too bad at all. I've removed any excess flock from the back end. The enamel does take a while to dry, so you get quite a bit of time to work with it. And then with a few dabs of CA glue on the locator points on the chassis, we can get the cockpit tub in place. So quite simple really. Not too bad. Very strange not working in my usual order because I normally do all the running gear, then all the interior, but we're kind of picking a bit on this, going back and forth from the interior to the running gear. But once we got to this stage where all the interior done, we're back to how we usually work now, so we can crack on with the body. So like I said, the body turned out really, really nice. Out the airbrush, beautiful finish. We're going to flat it all with some 2,500 wet and dry paper now, and that's all I'm going to use all of this body. Just a little bit of an experiment to see how it went, and it wasn't too bad. I do prefer my micro mesh, but I just thought I'd give this a whirl, see how it works out. Maybe we'll stick with it, maybe use in conjunction with the micro mesh, I don't know. But we're going to go around all the body with that. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but the ultimate polish system, compound, polish, wax and spray as well. And we're going to start with the compound. So with a nice clean bit of cotton cloth, apply a generous amount to the compound. Now if you have got the compound, if it dries out a little bit, just put a little bit of water in there, give it a good mix round and get it back to its paste-like consistency. Put a generous bit on. You need to add a touch more, don't be worried about doing that, but be careful of all the edges, any raised areas that you don't burn through. It's very, very easy to do. And I'm just going to go around and polish it all up. So I've got rid of the dust spots as good or as much as I'm willing to go. It's not perfect. There's still one spot on the roof a little bit, but for the majority, we've got rid of most of it. I'm happy with it. If you want to, as I'm feeling there, you can go back over again and then repeat with the compound, which is what we did. I went back over the sandpaper, then hit it with the compound again, and just keep going until you're happy you've got the finish that you want. At the end of the day, as long as you're happy, that's the important thing. Sometimes you get a bit overwhelmed thinking, oh no, you can see that, but on the bodywork side, if you push it too far, you're going backwards because you're going to burn through the paint. And if you burn through that clear coat, you're more likely to have to clear coat again. So you've got to sometimes think, weigh up the calculated risks. Is it worth pushing this and burning through what is already a really nice finish to strive for more perfection? Sometimes the answer is no. Now on the bonnet, I've gone over the washer jet vents and it's burned through. You can see the white of the plastic. Not bothered about that. We're going to mask those up later and spray them silver anyway. But just being very careful. The raised areas of those lines down the bonnet are very, very easy to burn through because the paint and clear is thinner on any edges. So you just need to be really, really careful working around. But keep the paper moist. Keep positive action. Keep away from the edges. And just take your time. Care is needed here. Don't go mad. Keep stopping, checking, dry it off, and have a look. And again, once you're happy, come with the compound and give it all a good polish up. So the compound is a highly abrasive polish. So this will get rid of the majority of the floor. So you get scratches in there, some imperfections in the clear. The sandpaper will flat that out to remove it. And then this will bring back the shine taken away from the wet and dry. And then when we finish it off with the polish at the end, that will remove the imperfections even more, and you should get a very, very nice shine. Now, if you don't, you can repeat all this again. It's not a problem at all. But this is the finish after the compound. and it's looking pretty decent, if I don't say so myself. Now we've got our polish as well. So this is much thinner, more liquid, and not as abrasive as the compound. So it's more of a finishing compound. If you get dried polish in the panel lines, use an old toothbrush to get rid of it. And we'll do that at the end as well. But a generous amount of the polish on the cotton cloth again, using a clean cloth each time. I'm literally using old ripped up t-shirts at the minute, which are working fantastic. And again, we just go round the whole model, polishing everything up, and hopefully getting a really nice high shine out of it all. So just some care, bit of time, bit of patience, and you should get a nice shine. If you've done the work with your 2K and you flattened it, you got to be nice and careful. The polish system, especially our one, I love our polish system, will bring back that beautiful high shine. And again, once that's dried, give it a couple of minutes to haze over, come back in with another clean cloth and just wipe it off and buff it up to a nice high shine. And again, if you're not happy, repeat it. I was very happy. This was looking phenomenal. And just be careful. Don't snag anything. Don't burn through the edges anywhere. It's very easily done. And yeah, just keep working on it, polishing it up. Can take a bit of time, a couple of hours work to do. But as you can see by the shine, as you see by the end, the result is well worth it, because you end up with a beautiful high shine model. And I'm not one of these people that believes that 2K is too shiny, doesn't look realistic, it's too thick. If applied correctly, it can look very, very good. Just like this, I think this looks really good. Doesn't look too thick to me. Once you've gone around and polished it all, you're going to find you get dry polish on all the panel lines. Now, you use the toothbrush. Some of it's a bit tricky to get out, so I had to load up the airbrush. This is the 0.35 Apex, 24 psi, and we're using it as a jet wash to jet wash out the panel lines, and then we can use it to dry off the paint, like so. Just use that to get any excess water off, blow it into the clean kitchen paper, and then we can wipe it over and give it a final shine before we come to our window rubbers. So I'm not going to show this all because you've seen it all before. If you want to see it in detail, you can go to the Tamiya Subaru Techniques Guide video. I think it's about part 5 or 6 where we mask all the windows up. But using the thin tape to go around all the window rubbers, get the definition of those masked up, and then we come in with thicker tape and mask up to that, and then come at the end with Tamiya 6, 10 and 18mm tape and some cling film saran wrap to win for all the rest. So Tamiya released this 1, 2 and 3mm tape a while back, and it's invaluable. It really is. It's as high quality tape as their thicker tape. Goes down really well. I've had no bleed through issues at all. It conforms around corners pretty well. Does a good job, and you can always take it back off and place it back on if needed. Always detack. I always detack on my finger or forehead. Look a bit of a weirdo doing it on your forehead, but it does work really well. And we're just following the lines. If you look at your instructions, you'll see where it's telling you to mask. And it's just the window rubbers on the car. And it makes a huge difference. It just makes the car come alive a bit. Now, there's people out there that tell you to use a Sharpie, brush paint it. In my experience, don't do that. It's a highly prominent, visible part of the car. And it can look awful. So, now, if you get any really difficult curves, like on the back of this car near the C-pillar, what I like to do is get my rotary cutter, cut a circle, and then cut it out like so. What you'll see what I do. So cut the circle using the spade cutter, and then we're just going to cut it so we're left with the profile we need. So I've cut right up, I've cut it shorter, and I'm going to look and think, where do I need? And we're going to cut it about there. There we go, and then we're going to cut it about there. And let's see how well this fits. Because getting the tape to conform is a bit tricky. So we can use that circle to conform it, which we have, and it's absolutely perfect. Look at that. There we go. And you can pop that in place, stick it down, burnish your home, and there we go. Perfect masking all around the back end. Clean cocktail stick, cotton bud, to burnish down the edges, make sure it's all lined up, it's straight, and there we go. Like I say, get the rest of it. Now we're coming in with thicker 2mm tape, and we'll infill all the edges and bring it all together, and then mask it with the 6, 10, 12 and some cling film to mask off the larger areas. It's a boring job, but it's a very, very prominent part on the car, and it's time well spent. Trust me, it's something your eye will be instantly drawn to, so don't brush paint it. I've seen it done. It doesn't look good. I've seen Sharpies used, and while some people have done a good job, yeah, I prefer to do it this way. And don't spray over gloss. I use Mr. Surfacer. It's like a semi-satin gloss, because rubbers aren't always that shiny. So as you can see, we've got cling film to infill the rest. So we just lay the piece out, fold it in half, put some tape on it, and as you'll see now, the whole model is covered. So before you spray, go around and make sure all the edges are fully burnished down, because you don't want to bleed through. We'll use the lacquer paint over the 2K. So this is our point tool apex, so at 18 psi. Mr. Surfacer, the black 1500 that's been thinned with Mr. Hobby 11 thinner, 60-70%. I'm just going to put a couple of light coats down, building it up, put it to one side to dry, and then come back and just keep going. Probably 3 light coats to get this down, and just take your time, build it up slowly, and you should get nicely masked windows. That's how I do it. Don't tend to have a problem. It is laborious, it is boring to do, but it is an important job to do, in my opinion. Right, quick word from myself and Lee. Head on over to www.umpretail.com and help support mine and Lee's business, because without Ultimate Modelling Products, there would not be any international scale modeler, and all the videos we put out there, and the Facebook page, and the forum we run. We stock loads and loads of modelling products, including all our own products of our Apex airbrush, our pigments, primers, sanders, thinner and cleaner tools, our wonderful storage system, polish system, and weathering washes. We also sell modelling tools, paints, model kits, glues, solutions, fillers, weathering products, aftermarket, and of course, international scale modeler merchandise and gift cards. And all orders made before 12 midday get next day delivery in the UK, and international orders are shipped within 48 hours. Okay, then, with all the windows unmasked, looking great, I've also masked off the side repeaters and the washer jet as well, and they're both going to be painted in silver. So just some careful masking. Again, it takes forever, but important to do in my opinion. We've also masked up the rear spoiler and sprayed the spoiler supports in the stainless colour we used for the wheels. The side repeaters and the window jets I've used TS17 on, just a generic silver colour. Now we're going to mask off the windows for the interior. Now the kit comes with a window mask, which is always a bonus. One thing I will say about this kit is I've built a few of the Skylines. I've built the blue boxing, the V-Spec. I've built the Z-Tune as well. And this one is probably the poorest of them all. On the back end, there's a lot of cleanup to do. And around the light clusters, the panel lines are not very well defined. I'm not sure what happened with the kit, whether it was just mine or what, but it took a lot of cleanup and a lot of rescribing. Whereas the V-Spec blue one, the blue boxing I've done, I built that many, many moons ago. I'll try and find a picture of it actually and put it on at the end. And that was no problem at all. And the Z-Tune one, apart from the front bumper being a bit tricky to get in place, no problems either. So this one, not the best, and probably one of the harder ones to find. Now, we've got the windows masked up there, over there, as you can see, mounted on a wooden stick. We've got the lights cleaned up and mounted up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to mask off the centre of the indicator part, which will be sprayed, painted yellow later. We're then going to spray the rest of the light red and the rear fog light as well. Then once that's dried, we'll come in and drop a bit of amber clear Tamiya LP, let me see, 53 in there. So windows, again, Mr. Surfacer black 1500. We're going for the 0.35 this time, 18 psi. And we're also going to paint up the rear diffuser under tray and the front under tray splitter as well. So these are clear parts. God knows why you want them clear, but they are. So a couple of coats, build them up slowly, and yeah, we'll be good to go here with these as well. Pretty quick and straightforward. A couple of coats later, and there we go. All painted, ready to go. Now the call outs do call for semi-gloss. I like the Mr. Surfacer black colour. I think it's a really nice colour. That's what we're going with. And then another light go over of the windows. Probably 3 coats on the windows to get the depth. Again, burnish down all that paint and keep it angled so you're not spraying outside the glass, because it's not what you want to do. So there's the lights. They've all been masked up, unmasked. We painted the yellow. We've stuck them onto the pre-chromed reflectors in the kit, just having a test fit on the body. Iconic part of the R34, these lights, they really are. The afterburner lights look great. Our UV glue pen is back. So one of my favourite new tools. Been using this for a while now. It's a lot cleaner than using CA glue, a lot safer as well. You get less reactions, no hazing on the body. You can get it back off with ease should you wish. So put the lights in place, put a generous glob of this stuff next to it, hit it with the UV light. It dries within 5 to 10 seconds. Do exactly the same on the front reflectors as well. Just clean them up, pop them in place. These are pre-chromed too. And yeah, no bother at all. We've painted the rear fog light and reversing light inside silver with low model silver. And obviously we've got the clear reversing light, which is left clear. And we're just popping these in place. A little bit of aqua gloss, capillary action around them. Holds them in place like a glue, no problem at all. And then we've got the front lamps as well. I assume these are indicators on the front. I assume that they are. Left clear, we've painted inside them silver again, and we've gone around the edges with a black Sharpie to imitate the rubber seal that goes round, and then both of them in place. And again, aqua gloss on a very thin brush, allows the capillary action around it, and it acts like a glue. It works really, really well. I didn't show it, you've seen me do it before, so I thought it wasn't worth doing. Headlight lenses, these can't go on just yet. These are going to need a bit of careful glue, and I don't want them popping off. But again, we're going to go around with the black Sharpie. I used to use an edding pen, but I found them just so unreliable. Even with refills, they just dry out. They're terrible. Whereas the Sharpies just keep going and going and going. So resorted back to using the Sharpie. And I'm just adding the black line all around the clear part, and it just adds a bit of realism. Makes it look like the rubber seal that's on the proper lights. And yeah, just adds another focal point to look at on the car. So the front splitter under tray, just 2 locator points underneath, a couple of dabs of CA glue, pop it in place like so. Same on the back, couple of locating points at the back, and it just rests at the front. So a couple of dabs of CA glue here and there, push it in place, get it all lined up. And there we go. No drama at all. Now in the kit, we do get the typical Tamiya mesh, the fabric plasticky stuff. Didn't want to use that. I want to use some metallic stuff. So I had some of this in my Spurs drip box. No idea where it came from at all. You can see here it's quite coarse. So we cut it with the PE pliers. Now I originally put a piece behind the GTR badge on these little air ducts at the front, which instructions did call out for filling in, but I didn't fancy doing that. So I just popped this in place, a couple of dabs of the UV glue, let me dry it. And then I also put a grill in the main piece at the front that sits in front of the intercooler. When I put the body on, I wasn't too keen on the look, so I took it back off. So for this section here now, as I'm putting the glass in, you can see the mesh on the front. In a bit, we're going to take it off when we put the body on. And in my opinion, it looks a lot better without it because you can see the Nismo logo on the intercooler better. So glass fits in like a glove, typical Tamiya. We've got our UV pen again. I'm just going to pick some strategic points out the way. Put a glob of the UV glue in place. If you put it in and leave it a second, it pulls itself into the part. And then when you hit it with this, it really does securely hold the glass in. So pick a few points to do it. I tend to do all around the side, 2 or 3 points, around the top and around the front. Not a huge amount, but enough to hold everything in. Give it about 10 seconds per part with the light, and it'll make sure it fully cures the UV glue. And it's so much easier and cleaner than using CA glue. You've got less chance of damaging things, and it does come off really easily as well. And should you get it on the glass, Union Airbrush Cleaner does remove it, so bear that in mind. Got the Nagaduct, what would we call this, trim piece inside. That's been painted black, so we're popping that in, and again we use the UV glue to hold it in place. Put a generous blob on each side like so. These UV pens are about £2.60 each, are an absolute bargain, and one of my favourite modelling tools. Absolutely love using this in the minute. Such a quick, fuss-free way of doing stuff. Mirrors, pre-painted with the body as per last time. We've got some chromed mirror inserts, a little dab of CA glue. Make sure you got the right mirror, drop it in place, push it home with the tweezers, put it to one side to dry for 10-15 minutes. Repeat for the other side, and then with a blob of the UV glue on the position where the mirror sits, put the light on ready, get your mirror, pop it in place like so, and then turn it around, go through the back of the glass and hit it with the UV glue. And again, fuss free, easy mirrors, instantly adhered in place. The window wiper's not, that just fell out, but we'll fix that in a minute. It's not an issue. And there we go. Again, repeat for the other side, and we're all good to go. Rear window wiper in place, just checking the fitment of it. Fits in really well. A little dab of UV glue in there, and again, put the light on underneath through the hole, and that will secure that in place. And then the front lights, little dab of UV glue each side. Less is more, and then hit it with the UV pen. Says 5 seconds for the UV. I like to leave it 10 or so. Either we do 5, move over to the other bit to get it secured, then go back and put a bit more on again. But this stuff works great. I really do love it. Really, really good stuff. And so much cleaner than CA glue. Sometimes though we have to use CA glue. The spoiler needs CA glue, so a couple of small dabs of it in the 4 locator holes. Make sure you got the spoiler the right way around. Okay, with that done, time to put the body on the chassis. So there's a locating point in the back, so slot it in the back, make sure you get it located properly. Slide it over, just push in the front gently, and again there's a little lip at the front, it just clicks in place. And there we go. Make sure you got no sagel on your fingers, not good at this time at all. And then the rear license plate, plastic part is in place, and we're going to put a Nismo decal on. Decal solution, standard decal procedure, and we're done. Now we've got some UMP polish system shine, and with the model finished, we're going to put some of this on a clean cotton cloth, wipe it all over, let it mist over, and then buffer up to a really nice high shine. So this stuff is great. It works really, really well. Our paint job is looking absolutely spanking. I'm really happy with this one. It's not perfect. There's still a couple of dust spots on the roof and here and there. But like I say, you've got to weigh up the options. Is it worth ruining what is already a nice paint job for the sake of chasing absolute perfection, which we're never going to get in a model. There's always going to be flaws. And for me, sometimes that extra little bit just isn't worth the risk of ruining what is a very, very pretty car. So we just go around, wipe this all over. There's no pressure needed. It's not a polish. It's literally a spray wipe on wax. So it just needs to be wiped over, allowed to dry, and then you can come back in with a clean cloth and buff it all off until you get a nice high shine. It's good stuff. It works really well. And this thing's looking really pretty. The blue, absolutely stunning. Gravity colours, 2K, absolutely beautiful as usual. And just a stunning looking car. The R34 is a great looking car. Got to be the best Skyline of all time. And Bayside blue, absolutely lovely. Really, really nice. So, yeah, happy how this has turned out. Not too bad. I've got some final pictures in a minute. But yeah, the 2K job, really good. I'm struggling to get 2K jobs like this now. I think I'm going wrong in a few places. I need to have a little bit of a step back and a little bit of think about what I'm doing. But this is just absolutely beautiful. Really happy with the finish. And with the shine from our ultimate modelling system, polish system, it's coming up absolutely beautiful. So this will remove any fingerprints, any residue, anything left behind. And then if you're careful when you handle it, you won't get your fingerprints on. But if you do, you can wipe them off nice and easily. So we'll hold her up for a quick look. It's looking good. Like I say, not perfect, but hey, it's as good as it's going to get for me. So I'm happy with it. Interior's looking good. The flocking's looking good. The Hannah did. Paintwork's beautiful. Really, really good. And it was an enjoyable project to get a Shelfer Doom project off the bench. It really was. Very satisfying. and a nice break from starting afresh and having to do a whole project. Nice to just pick it up and crack on, with a nearly finished model. I do have an Alpha 155 there, not as quite an advanced state of this was, but we will get back to it at some point. But we're a beautiful colour, beautiful finish, and a beautiful clear coat as well. Really happy with this. Lovely looking car. Really do love the R34. It's an absolute weapon of a car. So both sides looking good. Wheels looking good. Good colour choice on the wheels like those. Those big discs from the dress-up set look really good. Wasn't too keen on the high spoiler at first, but it's grown on me. And there's that iconic back end of the Skyline. Absolutely beautiful. And the front end's looking good as well. Not bad at all. Nismo logo could have been doing a bit lower, but it is what it is. It's just one of those things. So some pictures. I took some pictures in the photo booth, and it's looking good. So this was primed originally in Ultimate White Primer, base coated in Splash Bayside Blue. I'd use Gravity now if it was me. We used some of the decals from the dress-up set and some of the kit decals on it as well. Tamiya panel line wash. It was then 2K cleared in the Gravity Spain 2K clear system. Wheels are Mustabi super metallic. The spoiler was carboned with a sheet of carbon, probably from Scout Motorsport, knowing me. We've done the interior in two-tone grey using UMP Primer and LP13. Flocked using Scale Production flock as well, which come out really, really well. And for what is basically, it's a kind of out-the-box build with a dress-up set from Tamiya. I think it's turned out a pretty nice model. I'm more than happy with it. Like I say, only criticism is, I wish I put that Nismo logo a little bit lower down. I was following the instructions and they told me to put them there, but in hindsight, it needs to come down a good few millimeters to line it up. But what a beautiful, iconic car, and nice to get something off the bench. Enjoy doing this. Like I say, it was nice to pick a project up halfway through, rather than something I had to start from the very beginning, because it's quick. It's quick progress, quick finish. And I've got one model left in the shelf of doom now, so I'll get Gary and Alan off my back because they're always pestering me about it. So yeah, good looking car, great colour, great clear coat, ultimate polish system, doing the absolute business on that clear coat and bringing it to a beautiful shine. And just some of the angles of this car, that back end is just beautiful, absolutely iconic. Glad I went with the silver wheels. I know a lot of people aren't going to like them, but I like them because they're not the norm at all. It would look good in black or gold, I admit, or bronze, but I like the silver. It gives it a good look. And then I put it on the Scale Production background I've got. Great shot of it there. Really looks good on this background. Very photogenic blue cars. I've always noticed they always photograph really well. But one of my favourite shot is this. This one here. I love that shot. Great angle I got there. Really nice picture. So much so, I changed it to my main profile pic on my Facebook page. So there we go. Let's go back to me for some final thoughts. Okay then, so yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that. Beautiful model, beautiful car, and it turned out well. Really happy with that one. Why it went back in the box, I don't know. I'm glad I brought it back out and finished it off. Because there's a good mojo boost to finish the kit. It gets a kit out the shelf of doom. There's only one more in there now, really, and that's a Martini Alpha 155. So maybe we'll come back and do that one at a later date. And it's a different kind of video as well. So win-win all round. But happy how that turned out. Beautiful, beautiful model. And if I don't say so myself, it looked quite good. Quite happy with that one. So, funnily enough, I knew the back of my mind I'd built the standard V-spec Skyline kit. Same kit as this. The blue box in slightly different body, different bumpers, whatever. A long, long time ago, I knew I'd built it. And I went looking on my old blog. And I found it. And weirdly enough, it's nearly 10 years to the day since I started that build. This is the 17th of October 2021. And I started that one in November 3rd, I think it was, 2011. Crazy. Where does 10 years go? Absolutely mad. Pink Floyd did it right with the song Time. Before you know it, 10 years have got behind you. Absolute madness. So yeah, I've got pictures of it here, and you can see the difference. I bought it as a practice piece because I had Tamiya's RC166 bike that I bought to build. I didn't have a lot of money back then. This wasn't a good time in my life. Um, so expensive kits were thin and far between. And maybe, I don't know how I bought this, sold something, God knows. But I bought the RC166 bike kit, wanted to do a good job. Thought I'd buy a car kit to practice on. I built a few cars and bikes over the years before, and I built it, and it came out all right. Don't get me wrong, it's not brilliant. But if I put them side by side, which I'll try and do on screen, there's a big difference in 10 years ago to today. But how weird is nearly 10 years to the day that I built them? Very, very strange. But isn't it mad how quick 10 years goes? Crazy. Absolutely madness. So, yeah, off the bench. Now we can go back to the Lamborghini, was what I was working on when I had the spare a moment idea to get this back out of the box. So, working on the engine and running gear, a lot of cleanup on that. It's very laborious. And then we're going to go back to the C9. And then when the C9's done, we'll crack on with the Lambo again. That's a long-term project. We're going to crack on with a McLaren MP4 5B, which is a commission build for Mr. Luke Carswell. So we've got that. We've got some aftermarket decals, aftermarket set, detail set, carbon set for it. So it's going to be quite an in-depth build. Something I've never built before. I've never done a Formula 1 car in my life. So it's going to be an interesting build and hopefully an interesting subject for the channel. F51's still there. People keep asking me. The Mustang's still there. We will get back to it. Sadly, though, the Knight has been sold. The Games Workshop Knight is no more. That wasn't floating my boat at all. I don't like ships or boats. And it's gone. It's moved on. So we're not going to see that one. Sorry about that one. We found disappointing. But lots of cars, and we will get back to that Mustang. I promise you. So there we are. So with this one complete now, I can move on to a bench update. So you see a bench update in a couple of days. And then we can crack on with the builds as we go. So there we go. If you build this kit, let me know in the comments down below. It's not the best kit, this one. The back end of it needs a lot of cleanup compared to the other Skylines, which are nearly flawless. This is a pretty poor moulding. So if you do buy this white V-Spec 2 kit, take your time cleaning it up because it is quite bad on the back. There we are. If you'd like to support future videos, there's a Patreon me link in the description down below, as well as a PayPal me link as well. Any subscriptions, donations, all help and motivate and help production of the videos, and they're all greatly received, so thank you very much. And as usual, the boring spiel, check out Natasha Scale Model Facebook page and forum, umpretail.com. We can get a lot of products I use in my videos. The Paul ISM Facebook page, we can see all my personal modelling work shared. And of course, Live the Bench page, Off Air Hangout group, and the ISM group build page as well. Check out our Friday, Sunday, and Wednesday live shows. We do 3 a week. And yeah, make sure you sub to the channel, give a thumbs up, click that bell notification, and please leave a comment. I love reading your comments. I try to reply to any questions, but if you leave a comment, I'll always heart it up because I do read every single one, and they really do spare me along with the builds. So there we are. Thanks for watching today. I will catch you all later. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.